Hey folks, BlackCross here, and today's video I wanted to concentrate more towards the director of Kingdom Hearts 3, being that of, and if I butcher the name, I do apologize, Tetsuya Nomura. I believe I pronounced the first name wrong, but the last name is pronounced Nomura as far as I know. But anyway, it's regarding him. So, a lot of people, if not the majority of the community of Kingdom Hearts, has been kind of on like a mixed subject towards him. You know, he's basically the director of Kingdom Hearts 3, and as far as I know, he was also the director for Final Fantasy 15. But the biggest question isn't so much as to like how he has been doing and stuff like that. The question is actually more towards like fans versus Nomura. Now, what do I mean by fans versus Nomura is that there was like a couple of videos that I've been watching from some of my favorite Kingdom Hearts YouTubers and stuff like that, like for example the Gamer Joint and Limit Form 72. The question was more or less of like fans' response to Nomura, and honestly the only form of like negativity of Kingdom Hearts is that it takes too long for Kingdom Hearts 3 to be made. And in all honesty, I can understand why it would take so long because, you know, in terms of development, there's a lot of stuff you need to clear up and clarify. And with it being on the PS4 and Xbox One, quality is at its highmost amplitude. In other words, you need to bump up quality in graphics as well as the quality in picture to make certain that it's the best that it can possibly be, as well as the attention to detail within the game itself. But fans seems to put a huge negativity towards Nomura, and I don't know how bad it's been, but I can only imagine from like on a scale stance that the negativity can scale up to be pretty bad. I mean, us as YouTubers, sometimes we face negativity to some degree. Personally, I haven't had a negative comment. It's more towards like positive comments and then some spammers here and there. But in terms of like negativity, I haven't really gotten like major bad ones. If nothing else, they're more of like constructive criticism is the way that I put it. But in terms of negative response that Nomura has received, one of them being Nomura is taking too long with Kingdom Hearts 3, is taking forever for it to be released. It won't get released until like 2025 or something like that. And Square Enix should just fire him. That was the comment that has been talked about the most, and in terms of like everything else, I'm not sure. Now, there were some comments that has kind of spurred up, but I imagine comments like that, Nomura just kind of giggles here and there, being that of Nomura is such a troll, which he can be at times, but I say it's more towards like a marketing standards. It's not so much like he does this all the time. It does it in order to increase popularity as well as to increase fans' collective attention in order for Kingdom Hearts 3 to be like, I suppose you can say, popularized. But in Nomura's case, when it comes to like negative comments like, you know, Square Enix should just fire him, that can hit hard, like a lot harder than you think. And I imagine as a director, it can be very, very bothering to them. But for some reason, Nomura seems to take it pretty well to some degree, because that doesn't seem to bother him in terms of like how Kingdom Hearts 3 gets made. I imagine Nomura has concentrated a lot more effort into Kingdom Hearts 3's creation, but here's the thing, it's not all Nomura's fault that Kingdom Hearts 3 is taking so long. See, I've actually looked into this, and I found out that technically Kingdom Hearts 3 was originally supposed to be in a different engine rather than the Unreal 4 engine. And it actually been worked for like a whole year of work that they were on this engine, and then all of a sudden, either Square Enix themselves or like a small part of the development team or somebody said, let's put Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Unreal Engine 4. And keep in mind, the Kingdom Hearts staff crew has only been familiar with one engine and one engine alone so far. And for them to go move on to the Unreal Engine 4, they're having to relearn everything else from the ground up. And they also have to rebuild character models for the Unreal Engine 4 from the ground up as well. So in other words, we're talking like a whole year of work that they put into this one engine for Kingdom Hearts 3 to be completely scrapped and then move over to the Unreal Engine 4. And keep in mind, to rebuild character models into a structure scale for the Unreal Engine, I can only assume takes a lot more effort than it needs to be. In fact, I say there's a lot more detail into explaining how games are made in comparison to what people actually think. You know, some companies take like 1 or 2 years in order to make a game, whereas other companies take a little bit longer, especially if you're moving on a series from one engine to another. Keep in mind, Kingdom Hearts has always been on one format throughout its entire lifespan. 0.2 was like the first step of Kingdom Hearts being put on the Unreal Engine 4, and it kind of displayed as to like how it was going to look as well as how it was going to perform. So keep in mind, we really don't have a huge ideal as to how games get made. It can vary, you know, it depends. And then of course there's also people saying that Kingdom Hearts has been in development hell for years. Keep in mind, Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't start development until like, I think it was 2013, I think. If I get that wrong, I'll put the appropriate date, but I believe it's 2013 when they officially announced it that it was being in development. Now, admittedly, releasing that detail that early on might have been like a bad choice. I think it would have been fair substance to like wait a year or two until they thought about, okay, maybe this is the direction that we're going in, it looks like everything's steady, let's go ahead and reveal the detail of the development. I think they kind of revealed it a little too early, but maybe that wasn't Nomura's case. I think it was like Square Enix whenever they heard that Kingdom Hearts 3 is now in development, and they know that fans wanting Kingdom Hearts 3, and I've seen Square Enix kind of jump the gun and said, hey, let's announce Kingdom Hearts 3 this year. So maybe that was the case. Maybe it was the fact that they were just right now working on the ideal Kingdom Hearts 3, and then Square Enix caught wind of it and they were like, hey, let's go ahead and announce it at this year's E3, which was 2013 at the time. And they were like, okay, and even Nomura stated that the reveal for Kingdom Hearts 3 might have been a little too early. And I say that might have been like a small exaggeration, and instead he said, we revealed it way too early. I imagine that's what Nomura's thinking right now, is that we revealed it way too early. We revealed it way too early enough for fans to like get too hyped real quickly, and they're thinking the game will be released in the following next year, when in reality, they had so many things going on and everything like that, and it just kind of pushed the direction. Never mind the fact that he's also helping work towards Final Fantasy VII Remake, and never mind the fact that he was also going around the world for the Kingdom Hearts World Tour, and never mind the fact that everything else that was going on, for example, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5, as well as Kingdom Hearts 2.8 for that matter, the development for those games being put on the PlayStation 4, keep in mind, that might have had to slow down the team to some degree. May not have been a complete hold, but it did slow it down to a number or two. So it's sort of like, you know, Nomura's been so busy that there's no wonder why Kingdom Hearts 3 took a little bit longer than expected to. And I just don't think people get it. Even I don't get it, but even I have the sense of like, okay, I need to calm myself down and realize that there's a lot more work that needs to be involved when it comes to games. I'm somewhat familiar with I'm somewhat familiar with computers as it is. I only know enough computer knowledge in order to get me through the next generation. Now, in terms of like video game creation and stuff like that, I probably only scratched the surface as to what it all takes, you know. You have the fact that you gotta come up with art designs through like paper and stuff to figure out how the characters are gonna look, and then you gotta translate that in terms of 3D models through computers and stuff. And here's the thing that probably people don't think of. When creating a character model, sometimes it takes anywhere between 5 or so gigabytes in for that character creation. And then you have to compress that character into the game itself. Never mind the fact that that's just one character. Think of all the individual Disney characters, as well as Final Fantasy characters and main characters that Kingdom Hearts has. So that's a lot of detail. And then of course there's also the fact that the worlds are being rebuilt as well from the ground up. Each individual world. For all we know, there could be a total of 15. For all we know, there could be more or less. We don't know how many worlds is in there, but they're rebuilding all of the worlds in a newer detail. So, yeah, it's just That alone would take some time as well, and then also keep in mind too that they're keeping an eye on things to make certain that it's not glitchy, it's not buggy, and they want to make certain that the game flows nicely so that players will enjoy a wonderful experience in Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't think people get it, or if they do get it, they have way too much anticipation put into a game, and a game series where it involves Disney characters. I think even myself, as much of a fan as I am of Kingdom Hearts, I have to keep myself on a minimal to control myself so that way I don't end up blowing up and then hurting someone else's feelings, because I know for a fact it's not their fault. I know for a fact it's not Nomura's fault. And here's the thing, Square Enix is of course a company, which means they always have things going on in and out of the company. And it just, I can imagine Nomura being so frustrated and so tired from everything that goes on in his normal day, and I imagine reading comments and stuff like that and fans' response, I can only imagine that that is only magnified by a certain percentage or so, and just, it can be a headache, I can imagine. It can only be described as a major headache. So for this moment in time, if Nomura is watching this video, which if he is, holy fuck, my gosh, this is so incredible. But if you're watching this, Nomura, I wish you nothing more than the best wishes and the most successfulness that you can ask for when working with Square Enix. I can only imagine that that was probably something that you've wanted to do for years, is just work for a video game company or something like that. But also too, I know that you working on Kingdom Hearts 3, you're doing everything you can in order to make it the best it can possibly be, in order to be better than Kingdom Hearts 2 for that matter. Keep in mind, for a lot of people, Kingdom Hearts 2 is their favorite game, while as for me, Kingdom Hearts 1 is my favorite game. And judging by 0.2 gameplay that I have played, I can done tell that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to slowly bridge that mark of just being just a little bit better than Kingdom Hearts 2. So, will it be the best Kingdom Hearts game? It's hard to say, but if Nomura is trying to make that happen, then I wish you nothing more than the best of luck, and I will be sure to keep my expectations low so that I will be fully surprised and fully happy with the finished product. You're doing your best, and I know the team is doing their best, and I wish you and the team nothing but the best of luck and best wishes for the future. That's all I wanted to say, and that's all I wanted to talk about in terms of like Nomura's defense. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know that I said that I was going to work on a gameplay analysis, but don't worry, I will be working on that in the future to where we can get an idea as to how Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to actually be played like how it was in 0.2. I may have just scratched the surface of the ideal, but I have a close ideal assumption as to how it's all going to work. But anyway though, I'll see you in the next video, and this is BlackCross signing off. Take care, guys.